Hi everyone, welcome to the event. Let's just wait a few more minutes. Maybe we can start at 8:03 just to let more people come in. All right, I think we can start. Good. Okay. All right, good evening everyone. I'm Abel Maningas. I'm a product designer and tonight I will be the host for Product PH Community Talks. So um, this is part of the monthly event that we have in Product PH. And today or tonight, we have the topic of crafting a product roadmap. So our goal here tonight is definitely to teach everyone or to share within the community some expertise and definitely to help everyone connect because everyone's looking to connect, right? So nobody wants to work alone. But yeah, so um, as I'm quickly going to introduce to you what we're going to be doing today. So yeah, for today we will have only two things, which is the lightning talks and the lean coffee. So for the lightning talks, this will be a series of speakers who will share their expert knowledge within our topic of crafting product roadmaps. And the lean coffee section or the lean coffee part of our event will be sort of a Q&A if you're not familiar. So that said, I'd first like to introduce the Slido, or this is what we'll use for our lean coffee questions later. So we'll use this to collect your questions during the lightning talks, right? So if you could kindly scan this QR code or you could go to slide.do and enter this code. And we'd like to ask you a simple question or um, what brings you here today? So actually, Olivia, are you able to share your screen so we can see the answers? Or let me move it. Okay, what brings you here today? So for me, well, I'm part of the organizing team, so I'm definitely um, part doing the part of the organizing and facilitating. Before I used to go to these events to just connect with people, just to be around product people. I'm a product designer, but so I'm not a product manager, but I think being around product people, especially product managers, would help me improve my skills as a product manager. So we have some answers already. If you can see best practice of um, crafting, then to learn something new, whoever answered that, you'll definitely learn something new today. That's our hope because we have three awesome speakers tonight and to share my experience. So definitely this is from a speaker. No. So they're gonna be sharing very quickly and um, very deep or very informative stuff. So as you know with lightning talks. All right. So that said, I think we could move on with the first speaker. So as a reminder, or before we go into the first speaker, please send your questions into the Q&A on the Slido, and we'll use them later for the lean coffee section or lean coffee part of our event. All right. So okay, for our first speaker, we will have um, Perdini Mempin, who's also a product designer like me, and she's currently working at the Tang app. So I wouldn't really spoil. I don't want to spoil whatever she'll be sharing about herself, but you can now have the floor, Ferdy. Let me stop my share.
Thank you. Okay, sharing my screen. Uh, Storyboarding to product. Sure. Oh God, wait. The Zoom screen left me. Yeah. Okay, I can't see you guys. Or the chat because Zoom ate my screen. Show small video, small thumbnail. Yeah, okay. I won't be able to see any comments because Zoom got my whole screen. Here we go. Managed to extract the window. So, hi guys. Oops. My name is Ferdy. You could call me Ferds. And about me, so let's all get to meet each other, is that I'm a product designer that studies business management. And currently, that's going to be around, I think I'm currently on sales and marketing. And then for my interest, that would be participating in tech groups as what I'm doing right now. And then building relationship with business startups. So in my business management studies, I get to meet a lot of people building their businesses, and they are also creatives themselves. So I tend to get to be friends with them or share process or discuss problems and such. And then on weekends, if it's not obvious with my setup, is that I do game streams and I mainly indulge with coffee and tea. So that's it. And then to start the topic, because we got 10 minutes, so that's around 9 minutes left, is that I'll be focusing on turning a storyboard into a product roadmap and who this is for. So this is a disclaimer, right? Because not everything is gonna fit for your needs. So this is gonna be for agency-based designers or product designers, and then noobs transitioning from other career fields into user interfaces or UX experience. And otherwise for design workshoppers, especially if you need some workshops to involve the client, the team, and such into having them into the building the roadmap, so, something like that. So why do you need to create a roadmap in the first place? So I won't dive deep into this because the next presenters will give you a much more valuable information, and I don't want to take the opportunity away from them. So just to like brush off of these points is that either your client or your company has limited resources, that could be people, time, or money. The company you're working at or your client is looking for a new market fit. So it could be like they have this main one when they started and now they're trying to go into subgroups, and then others is they're looking into to make it competitive because they're finding out that it's hard to like compete in the red sea, so to speak. Like they have similar like apps that we want to like differentiate ourselves, and then otherwise is alignment with the stakeholders, because usually some starting apps websites has a investors and such, so they could have a like before we invest we need you to have this and this and such. So those could be the reasons why. And then for starting a product roadmap. you first need to gather market research or competitive analysis. That's either the end user or uh, businesses that is similar to yours. And then otherwise is the next point is business research. So that's how the client aims to profit from the product, or how your business is like uh, trying to like use this app in while you're also doing the main. So I don't I don't really want to dive deep on this part because it's also a topic on its own. But it really depends on circumstances. On you just need to understand what's going in with your business. What were did you like commit to the client, or what is the company expecting when they are trying to build this new product. And then I guess that also goes into like the lowest sorry, the third point, which is the product goal or vision. So what were they envisioning this business you were trying to build it for? What's the end deliverable or achievement that this product, what do they want to achieve it with? Something like that. And then next point to building your roadmap. So story mapping is a basically, if I want to explain it to a 5-year-old, is you make up a story, and that story has to have a start and an end. And in between that is the steps for them to get to the end. And that's the simplest way for you to build a story map. So once you got this done, this could be done in like, what's the sticky notes? And then everybody can like pitch in like, oh, you when you envision this product, right? Because we came from the steps, right? The data gathering. Did you think that they will do this? So this person, let's pretend the name is Anna, will search for the item online because they want to buy something. And when they are buying something, are they gonna do this? So you're basically breaking steps from, got the event notification, sorry, is that so it's getting from point A to point B. So basically that's the basics of story mapping without diving too deep. Yeah. And then propose a story map to the team. So when the story map is drafted, basically you then get to talk with your team. So that's gonna be people involved with building it. So what first off is you talk with the client, ask them if this is what they envisioned, and then involve the dev team immediately because they will be the ones who will try to like, if the client's time or resources, as we have mentioned before in the previous slides, is only up to like 3 months, 2 months, and whatever limitations they have, then the dev team will tell you that, oh, we can only do this kind of service for them, like existing web apps and stuff. So I don't want to. So they're the ones going to propose the technology behind the product. And then after everybody is aligned, everybody pitches in what kind of effort they can give with this timeline and execution. So those are the next points, which is alignment and schedule for execution. I hope I am not, sorry, I'm getting conscious of the time. And then when everybody pitches in, this is how the story develops, right? So marketing, usually that's the designer themselves as well because they're thinking of UX. And other stuff is that they're gonna think of, when the basic structure of the story is the yellow parts, then they're gonna think of, oh, for us to funnel the users, we need this and all of these details. And then the devil pitch in that, oh, because we only have this timeline, because we did data gathering, right? Is that we can only offer this as a website or a web app. But we don't think this is gonna provide any value if this is an app. And I think we need this feature and this feature to complete this story, kind of thing. So that's how your story gets turned into a product roadmap. So there are lots of types of product roadmap. Again, those ones will be discussed with the next presenter. So hope you guys stay in until the last speaker. And then if you have additional questions, please do present them by then as well. So how it's gonna look like when everybody pitches in the details of the features and such is this part. So every other thing, that idea they can think of to put somebody will document and then pitch in, and yeah, somebody's gonna do that. And then this is how it's gonna look like when everything is on a roadmap. So for example, because our most basic story is Anna needs an item, searches for it and finds it. For the first 2 weeks, design will do this and this, development will do this, while marketing will also do this. And this type of roadmap is a product feature roadmap or a product release, because every other sprint or the client checks in, this is what they expect from us to deliver for them. Okay, wait, the timer says 10 minutes. Okay, that's it. So basically, this is how it looks like. And these are the tools you can use when you're trying to do a roadmap. So again, if you have a recap is that uh, for turning a storyboard into a product roadmap is that you first need to gather data and propose the story map to the team who will execute the product, and then gather all the inputs and build the roadmap to the deadline that the client gave you. So that's it. For any questions, please note them and we will have them discussed for the end part of the presentation. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ferdy. I really like the highlight on or how you stress the importance of why you should create a roadmap. That's something that I personally um, work with or struggle with because budgeting the right resources is really important with projects. So, yeah, that said, please, again, before we move on to the next speaker, please send your questions to the Slido and we will go through them towards the end part. Okay. Sorry about my timer. Okay. All right. So for our next speaker, uh, hold on a sec. We have Dmitry Stupakov, who's a product manager at Build Build Build. All right. Dmitry, please introduce yourself and go on with your topic.
Hi everyone. Let me share my screen. Is it fine? You can see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, the previous speaker, for your presentation. That was quite interesting. Myself, I'm gonna dig in some details. What are the differences between roadmap and feature plan, and why is it not the same? I will start with pointing why is it important and who can get value through it. And then I will compare what are the differences between roadmap and feature plan. And then I will give you real examples of both from my work. So my name is Dima. I am Russian, but now I'm living in Manila. So I joined the community to meet new people. I really enjoy to talk with product managers and other IT workers because I feel the same vibes. So I hope I can find a lot of interesting people here. I was working as a product manager before in Tinkoff Bank. It is one of the world's most advanced and big online banks. I was dealing with small and medium enterprises and internet acquiring to be particular. And the day when I left Tinkoff, they announced that they are launching business in Philippines. But since now it hasn't started yet, so I guess the crisis strikes hard. Now I'm working as a product in the startup Build. We are doing software for construction companies, and I'm responsible for financial technologies for construction companies. And so through my experience, I worked both in big corporation and small startups. So I know some details how the road mapping being done in both. So let's start is what are the purposes of planning. The previous speaker already gave some examples by herself, but I will tell from my own too. The road mapping can help you do the right thing. It means you are thinking of it, you are making some plans, features. It gives you a lesser chance to do something wrong or unnecessary. Also, such document as roadmap can connect everyone who is involved. It means from the CEO to developers, people are looking at the same documents, so they're all working together on the same thing. Also, when people have such document, they can think of it, they can give some ideas how to make it better, what to change. So people start to involve, to put their attention, and everyone works together. Also, it helps the team to work better. They know what are they doing, so they don't spend time on thinking or not doing anything, and so the performance of the team increases. But if everything is so easy, so I wouldn't make my presentation. So let's look closer on all these four goals. So speaking about helping to doing the right thing, is the set of features equals the right thing? I don't think so, because for example, some of your features may just not work. You will not get value through it. Your hypothesis will be wrong, so you will not also get value from it. So the some bunch of features doesn't mean that it's right thing. And speaking about connection of people, imagine yourself the head of the big department of 500 people, and your 50 product managers are giving you their 50 roadmaps where it's written what all of these 500 people doing in the nearest months in their 100 projects. So what you're gonna do with all this information? You need some bigger picture than small details. Also, there are some complications in involvement too, because if some product manager makes complicated, high detailed roadmap for a long time, people will not even look at it because they will think that it's too hard. They don't want to waste their time. So they will just look on the small area of their concern and make some suggestions there. So you will not increase involvement giving such complicated things to the team or other people. And last, about performance of the team. Of course, it depends on a lot of different things, but I can mention two, speaking about roadmap. It is some business goal and day-to-day work. People need to have something to aim. They need the Northern Star. So all of you will swim in the same direction in your boat. It helps team to work better. But also they need day-to-day instrument, how they need to work, what they need to do. Are they blocking someone or someone is blocking them? So these two goals mostly being reached by different instruments, according to my experience. And this leads us to separation of project plan and roadmap. So project plan or feature plan is day-to-day instrument where you plan your features and tasks on who is doing what and when. While roadmap is goal-oriented instruments for achieving something, what you need to achieve with your product. And let's look closer to the differences. So as I said, feature plan consists of features and tasks, and these tasks are going in some direction. For example, in some direction, yes. For example, you trying to make feature on system 1, but it needs data from system 2. So you can't make feature 1 on system 1 unless you made feature on system 2. So these dependencies set your workflow as a team or even bunch of team if we are speaking about big corporation. While roadmap consists of some business goals. For example, this time we need to achieve this thing to the product. We need to achieve these customers, or we need to enter the market, or we need to make such functions. So it shows your prioritization, what is important to do now and what is important to do next. So if project plan or feature plan is day-to-day instrument how to work, the roadmap helps team to focus on something like their Northern Star. Also, feature plan works best if it's well estimated. You need to know who is doing each task and how much time does it take, so you can plan all together and plan your project or feature development ahead of time. while roadmap doesn't need deep estimation. You just need to set your high goals and try to achieve them. So when you will come closer to the time, you will think more details in your feature plan. It means that feature plan works better in the short term and roadmap works better in the long term. Also, the different instruments are needed for these maps. For feature plan, it's better to use some task trackers like Jira, Trello, Asana, and so on, because they have features for it. For example, customizable desks, statuses, integrations with GitHub, and so on. And when you are building roadmap, you are thinking of goals. So it's quite creative process. You need to put a lot of data together. So you need to drag and something back and forth. So something agile will be good. I don't know anything better than Miro myself. If you know something, you can give some suggestions through Q&A. So as I said, I'm going to show you some real examples. Here, the piece of feature plan of my product, you can see the prioritization, like design goes before the back and front. Also, when the tasks are being moved through the statuses, the progress bar also goes to 100% by itself. And also developers can put links to the task in the comments in the code. It makes further development much easier. And here, the example of roadmap. As a startup, we didn't have any data to use to our prioritization, and also our company focused first on earning money by building some projects using our software to earn money to build this software. So we also couldn't set goals like to achieve some customers or to, for example, earn some money by selling our products. So we decided to set our goal is to help the construction company lead or project lead to work better. And what do they need the most? I guess it's quite obvious. They need to earn a lot of money. So how can they earn a lot of money? They can do a lot of projects and make each project effective. So we focused on how to make each project effective, and it means spend less, earn more. So how to spend less, build more effective and faster. So how to do it, and then we drag, drop these goals to smaller parts. And then to my financial part, we got three main goals, which of these also consist of three sub goals. Here you can see the roadmap we built in the start of 2022. As you can see in the start of the year, it looks like a feature plan because we already planned what we need to do exactly to achieve some of the green goals. But then after, we already didn't plan so much details, so we just put some orienters. For example, we need to do some functions or solve some problem. But the world showed us that even these plans will not work, so everything changes, and we needed to change all our plans too. And it leads us to very important thing. Then both these instruments, the roadmap and feature plan, are living agile instruments, so they always need to adjust them to current situation. As famous quote says, planning is everything and plans are nothing. To conclude, I'd like to leave you with some following thoughts. Like a goal-oriented roadmap, good for long term. It consists of some achievement which you need to do with your product, and high detailed feature plan is for short term, how to achieve what is in your roadmap. But sometimes they're connected, and feature plan grows to the roadmap in future. Also, both instruments should be agile. It's not like you set it once and forever and then leave like that. You need to adjust them to the situation. It means that you should not spend too much time on planning because you need to raise value from yourself, your product, and your team. Also, the instruments for the product roadmap and feature plan may vary, The feature plan works good in some task trackers, and road mapping is better in some agile instruments like Miro. And the last thing I say is that maybe project manager may not know product management, but good product manager knows how to deliver value, how to make his ideas come true. So good product manager knows something about project manager. Uh, Thank you so much for your time and attention. In the last slide, you can find some link for further exploration. I will be happy to answer your questions if you have some in Q&A session. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Dima, for sharing your experience and real world examples, right? So yeah, I think roadmaps and feature plans have different uses. I've personally worked um, industry software that actually works better with feature plans versus roadmaps. All right. So before we move on to the third speaker, I'd like to just check on everyone. How are you feeling? Maybe you could share an emoji on the chat just to make sure that you're all still there and alive. So if you could send how you're feeling or send an emoji of how you're feeling. Okay, so we have a lot here. Maurice is smiling. Leona is like sparkling. Okay. All right. Glad to see some of your smiles virtually. No. All right. So for our third speaker, we have Maurice Asuncion. She's a senior product manager at Quipper. And yeah, I won't spoil anything. So Maurice, please take the floor.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen and I hope it works this time. Am I sharing the right screen? Are you seeing my presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, hi everyone. I hope you're enjoying the talks here in Product PH. For tonight, I'm gonna be talking about aligning teams through product roadmap. So some of my ideas would actually be echoing some of the ideas from the previous speakers, but I'll be mostly talking about how roadmaps can be used to actually align different teams. Just a quick introduction. So I'm a senior product manager at Quipper. I actually started my career as a content writer. So I'm one of those accidental PMs that were mentioned in the past session. I've managed various edtech products in the past. So most of my product management experience is actually in edtech, although I did have experience managing both B2B and B2C products. In my free time, I love traveling and camping. I like quick morning runs and also playing with our puppy, which you can see on the right side of the screen. For my talk today, I'm gonna run through three topics quickly. I hope the first thing is the product vision and roadmap, how you can align both of those and also align it with the company vision, how you choose your North Star. I'll talk about what North Star is later, and also how you build your roadmap and adapt to change. So for the first part, your product vision and your roadmap. This is a perfect visualization of how my first couple of months as a PM looked like. So I was getting a lot of different requests from different people, from marketing, from customer support, and it was so overwhelming that it was hard for me to actually look at the bigger picture. So it felt like I had tunnel vision, and I just ended up trying to deliver whatever thing comes first. So that was my biggest struggle. And then back then, our CEO said, "You know what would solve your problem? You're gonna need a product roadmap." Then I tried to research what is a product roadmap. And as a person who didn't have experience in product management before, I thought that a product roadmap is a Gantt chart. So I thought that if you line up all the features that you're planning, if you assign start and end dates, you already have a roadmap that you could roll with your team. But of course, as I discovered the North Star framework, as I got to work with different people, I learned that a roadmap is more than just a Gantt chart, as Dimitri mentioned. So, if you could see here, the company vision. So, Kipper's company vision is to bring the best education to all corners of the world. And then for based on that company vision, we set product visions for the two products that we have, Quipper School and Quipper Video Masterclass. So we tried to make it so that both product visions are gonna help reach the company vision, which is to bring the best education to all corners of the world. So on my side, because I am focused on Quipper Video Masterclass, the B2C side of the product, our vision is creating an engaging self-led learning tool for learners to achieve their goals. So that's our vision. Then that trickles down to our goal. So for our goal, we think we need to focus on user retention and acquiring more users. And then it boils down to our roadmap, which is more focused on how we can, of course, improve retention, reduce churn, and also acquire more users. So it's kind of like you start with the company vision and try to distill it down to your roadmap. Now we move to the next part, which is choosing your North Star. So how before I talk about that, I wanted to share why a North Star is important first. So first thing is it actually serves as your key metric of success. So if you were to release something, you could tell whether it was successful or not if it actually helped improve your North Star metric. Next thing is that it guides prioritization decisions. So every time you are debating whether you should work on this epic first or work on this other epic first, you can use the North Star as your North Star. Like you could ask yourself, is which of these two things is actually gonna impact my North Star metric more? Another thing is guiding your team and your stakeholders. So if you all have the same goal, which is your North Star, then it's going to be better. It's going to be easier to align everyone in your team. And of course, it helps with compelling storytelling. So as product managers, we're actually expected to be great storytellers. And in my experience, it usually helps if you have a North Star to frame your, let's say it's a presentation. If you have a North Star, you could say, okay, these are the different epics initiatives that we did, and it actually helped improve this particular North Star. Oops. Now, the next thing is, how do you choose your North Star? When you try to choose your North Star, I think you should remember this one question. What's the one thing that your users can do with your product to help solve their problem? So think of a company like Spotify, for example. We could assume that the problem they're trying to solve for people is to make music more accessible to people. So gone are the days when we had to go to the store, pick up a CD, and then listen to our favorite artists, because Spotify helps solve that problem for us. If we frame it that way, then we could assume that the North Star of Spotify is the time their subscribers spend listening to music. Because if they spend a lot of time, I'm running out of breath, listening to music, then it means that they're solving the problem for their users. So users are actually enjoying whatever Spotify is delivering. Last part is, how do you build your roadmap and how do you adapt to change? So in my experience, it usually helps if you conduct workshops with your team. So you should include your stakeholders, you should include your engineers, QAs, everyone in your team, so that you have one understanding of what you need to do for the year. This is an example here of a workshop that you could conduct. It's called Creative Matrix. What you see at the top is the user personas, and then on the left side of the screen, those are the enablers. And then based on those two factors, you try to come up with as many ideas as possible. And you should also have like a frame, like a problem frame. So for example, it could be, how do we, in my case, how do we increase retention and improve acquisition, since those are the product goals? Based on that problem statement, we try to come up with as many ideas as we can that would address the needs of the different personas at the top. Now, things to remember. So first is, as I mentioned, having a clear product vision is key. So don't be like me when I was starting as a product manager. Start with your product vision first. Second is your North Star metric would help you build a strong and robust roadmap, because you could make it so that all of the things you're planning for would actually impact your North Star metric. Next thing is driving team alignment is at the heart of building a great roadmap. So even if you had uh, presentations, Gantt charts everywhere, if the team isn't aligned, then your roadmap is not doing its work. Next thing, great roadmaps take a lot of work. It's more than just an Excel sheet or a Gantt chart with release date. So even if, like I said, you had all those documents, you had all those artifacts, um, it's not gonna be effective if you don't understand your users, for example. So you have to conduct a lot of user research. You have to do interviews. You have to do a lot of testing for you to be able to build a great roadmap. And then lastly, as Dimitri said, roadmap shouldn't be set in stone. You always need to leave room for change, because just imagine if you're in an industry and then your competitor suddenly releases something that actually threatens your position in the market, and you're not able to respond to that quickly, then you're going to be in big trouble. So it's important that once you have your roadmap, you also conduct regular roadmap reviews with your stakeholders as well as the rest of the product development team. Okay, so I wanted to end with one quote from John Doerr. We need teams of missionaries, not mercenaries. Why this resonated with me was, it's if you think about missionaries, right, they're just focused on doing whatever they've been told to do. Well, if you think about missionaries, they're more focused on like what the goal is. So if the team knows the goal, they're not just doing things that they're being told to do, then the process would be much smoother. You're gonna see that they're actually passionate about delivering the goal. They actually have more empathy for users, so they're more involved and they're not detached from the whole product development process. So that's it for my lightning talk today.